Quentin Tarantino uses really campy kind of Easter eggs throughout so that you can kind of see that something's coming. Like, for instance, one of the assassins tries to shoot her through a box of cereal, but the box of cereal says kapow on the side, like things like that.
Yeah.
It's very bright.
Hi, I'm Cade,
And I'm Kit,
and we're real people.
doing real reviews.
And today is season 3, episode 9
That's right.
of our Stories That Stick.
Mm-hmm.
And we are starting a new
Theme.
and it is good versus evil.
That's right.
Good versus evil.
Well, sometimes
We're not sure who's good and who's evil, but
we've learned a lot about each other in this series on,
we'll know a lot by this round.
well,
Who's good and who's evil.
okay. But
So in true fashion, you go first.
well,
What did you pick?
yes, and of course, if you're just tuning in for the first time, the reason why we're doing season 3 of Stories That Stick is to dissect and go through the films that have shaped our perspective on cinema. For good versus evil, my choice was Kill Bill, and we were laughing about this because I thought it was very important to get the full theme to watch both movies, volume 1 and 2.
Okay, guys. She said they are one movie.
I thought it's one movie and it splits in the middle, and then you have to keep watching it.
But volume 2's a prequel.
No, well,
She made me watch both movies, everyone. I think that it's an automatic flip. Set's over. We are doing a review of 2 movies. She got 2 movies in on me.
well,
I only made her watch 1 Twilight movie.
this is true. And then
she literally, okay, go ahead. Tell us why you picked this Kill Bill volume 1 and 2.
for good versus evil. Well, first of all, do you remember when we watched just the first one and you were like, I don't see the good versus evil? And I was like, that's because we're not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. The movie ends and I'm like,
Okay.
evil?
Evil and just more evil. Okay, got it. I I chose this movie because to me, when I think of like what's truly good in the world and what is pure and good that we can experience in our everyday life, it's children. And so this storyline is based around a mother's kind of battle to protect her child. She has a bit of a tumultuous past, but she ultimately has this base of instinctually wanting to do what's right or what's good for this good thing that she's created and put into the world. So that was why it was my choice. Hmm.
And then why did we watch both movies?
Because you have to know that the child's alive.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go through the summary? You think?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can dice, or both of them. How are we gonna do this?
It is.
You know?
It's the journey of 5 assassins that she needs to take care of to then get to the ending where she's going to, make sure that her child is safe and good.
Right.
And so that's one movie. One movie.
One movie. Yes.
And it starts out in the beginning of the movie that she is this woman is, and it's revealed that she's a very well-known assassin. She is in this little teeny town with a few friends and a boy, and she's getting married.
Mm-hmm.
And she is there's an attempted murder on her. They murder all of the people that are part of this church in this rehearsal, and she's put into a coma, and she goes on a journey of getting all of these assassins who murdered everybody back, and in hopes of just revenge in the beginning. And then midway, she finds out that the baby had actually survived the shots to the head that she took,
Yeah.
and was taken during her coma, and is living, in the world. And so there's an ultimate journey of finding this child. So that's one movie.
I love
Over two.
you described it in that way. I
That's not your interpretation of the story
well, I
over
mean,
here.
volume 1,
Hmm.
I think we could have done without for this theme. But
True. Because there's a little recap.
yeah,
There's a little recap. This is a obviously a very well-known Quentin Tarantino movie.
yes.
It is
As well as Uma's very well known for this role.
she is. Yeah, I feel like this role and Pulp Fiction, those like when I think of Uma, like what gets brought up the most. She is
And I think about Poison Ivy, which leads into my choice
well,
list.
um, we we notice that we aren't the
Yeah.
same when it comes to good versus evil at all. At all. But that's good. So we'll discuss it. The what's interesting about Uma's like journey of kind of recovering from this, coma and coming after these assassins is that there's a little backstory of how she has a relationship, which is each of
Mhm.
these
Yeah.
assassins because they were part of a group with her. And ultimately, the reason why the assassination of her was attempted was because she had broken kind of the lead guy that's like in this group's heart, and she tells him that it's her like this baby is your baby, and yes, I'm marrying in this place, but it's that's on purpose. And he's like, I grieved you, and then I find out you're okay and you're marrying this other person, and I'm gonna react that way. And then as she goes through each of the assassins and their backstory, all of them have very interesting backstories. They're all very dangerous, kind of, yeah, um, men and women. And one of them is the brother of the lead guy. And so, what I love about the storyline is that it's a very heavy use on practical effects. It's
Yes.
very interesting in the way that they do the kills. There's a bit of noir. These are all like my
All
heart
things that she loves.
in
Yeah.
one place. Really interesting use of like music choices and the
Anime.
yeah, there's a bit of anime midway through, which was very clever, because it's showing the use of a young girl kind of using pedophilia to her advantage to murder this like boss. And so they did that all with anime, which is I thought was very clever depiction. And then switches to her like running the Yakuza and kind of
Mhm.
being amazing. And um she as she goes through, it's not that she goes without any injury along the way of, like, going after these assassins. She's very bold, and so are they, and then Quentin Tarantino uses really campy kind of, Easter eggs throughout so that you can kinda see that something's coming. Like, for instance, one of the assassins tries to shoot her through a box of cereal, but the box of cereal says "Kapow" on the side, like, things like that.
Yeah.
It's very bright. Visually, it's, really exciting kind of, filming. Nothing drags on, that's for sure. Everything's quite quick. The fight scenes are quite long.
Excuse me.
What? What
Dragged
go?
on.
What?
It dragged on because you made me watch both movies. We get done with volume 1 and I was confused on the good and evil, and I didn't know how you were gonna explain it to me, and then you were like, "And there's more."
I took it like, when do you remember back in the day when Titanic was on Tubi and
Oh my
Netflix?
goodness, yes. That's one movie.
It's one movie. It's just still one movie. It just was in 2 VHS. That's how I volume 1 and 2 part he was like, it was released 2 years later for part 2. I was like, "Listen, it doesn't
2 movies.
that's they need to make up the money somehow." So as they go through it, she kinda goes on this journey and also shares some of the backstory of how she became the assassin that she was, which allows her to escape some of the scenarios that she
That's
ends up
true.
in. And she kind of shows, like, how was their love story with this quite awful, evil, like
For
ringleader
sure.
kind of guy. And how did she find, ultimately where he was after she killed everyone and where the daughter was as well.
I think this movie shows, like, again, a continued, like, artsy kinda theme from you, however, which is very odd because you will probably not say that you're very artsy
Hmm.
in that way, but we've definitely watched a lot of artsy
It's being
movies.
revealed that perhaps
Yes.
I am all the way down the rabbit hole when it comes
Yeah.
to I feel like if I'm not watching, like, black and white Italian '60s cinema, it's not artistic, maybe, but now
Fair.
we're realizing maybe I just do that in modern day.
Modern day, yeah.
Mhm,
Because
mhm,
looking back on it, I definitely especially in volume 1, I would say, like, that one for sure,
mhm,
um, not on theme, however, is all the things that you do like in a movie
mhm,
kinda jam-packed
yeah,
into it,
mhm,
as well as I think, like, at the time that this movie was released, they were trying new things, it was kind of edgy in that kind of way,
mhm,
um, yeah, I think it was pretty cool,
yeah.
I think she definitely pushed it for this theme, as well as I do like that she compared this movie to the Titanic, because the Titanic came onto VHS tapes, and that's one movie. I'm gonna just stick with that because
Okay.
I laughed so hard for so long after watching
Yeah,
both movies
mhm,
in a row,
yeah.
very late at night.
I did do that. I did do that. Um,
So, obviously, I would say towards I would say for this theme and probably the movie or the portion of volume 1 and 2 that I like the most is volume 2,
mhm,
because I think, like, it definitely has kind of the more iconic lines from Kill Bill,
mhm.
the one that we were discussing as far as, talking about Clark Kent.
Yeah, there's a really
Yeah.
great monologue that Bill gives, and it's kind of, it's him justifying his incredible overreaction to to murdering her, where he's talking about how, in all of the superheroes, that he loves Superman the best because Clark Kent actually, he is Superman. Like the clothes that he wears as Superman, that was his blanket. That's his clothes. That's who he is. And so Clark Kent's his actual interpretation on the world, which was like weak and,
Mhm.
kind of with glasses and the suit and this kind of persona of how he interpreted humanity, just human beings, but who he truly was, of course, is this, person who can fly and has all those
Yeah.
supernatural things. And he said that's the same as Uma's character, which it doesn't matter if you're in this little cute town in El Paso, Texas, or wherever he was, or
Yes.
getting married to some nobody. You are one of the greatest assassins of all time. That's who you are. You will always be that. And then he kind of pushes the conversation into how did it feel to kind of murder everyone, and he'd given her a truth serum, so that she had to answer, and she was like, "It felt good. It felt good to do all of those things." And he's like, "Why did you do that?" And she was like, "Because I knew that if I have your baby, that she would be raised in this atmosphere, and she would have no choice but to be a killer, and she would have never gotten the choice to choose a different
Mhm.
road or path, and which is why we're going to battle, and I'm going to kill you now." And then she does this 5-point palm kind of trick that she was taught by his mentor, and she never told him, which I thought was so interesting. Kind of showed how far down the evil rabbit hole she had gotten, that she had learned something by a mentor that was given to her from him, and he walks off, and he ultimately dies based on this thing that she had learned, which is such almost a respectful way for him to go, was saying he'd been beat, that his mentor saw more potential in her than him.
Mhm.
She ultimately is the choice, and then she takes her daughter and she leaves, and the ending scene is, of course, she's crying in this bathroom in this little motel while the daughter is watching this awful cartoon, and she's crying of joy because she's like, "Oh my gosh, like, I get to choose being good now and give and have choices because I've cleared any loose ends that would have, not allowed for this to happen for myself and for my daughter." Mhm.
Yes.
It's very good.
What would you
Mhm.
say is your favorite scene?
My favorite scene,
Yeah, through
I
all of it.
really love when she is assassinating the 88s, which is in the first movie at the end before she gets to Lucy Liu. I love the music choices leading up to it. I love the effects. I just think it's really interesting. I think it is a good display of power on Lucy Liu's part. I thought the characters that were involved were really great. I just thought, oh, I just love that scene. When I think about that scene, I think it's so well done and interesting, fun. Um,
See, which is interesting and maybe why you made me watch both movies is because I would say volume 1 is very much you, and then volume 2 is the theme.
I'm trying to share myself with you, okay? I'm finished.
Got it.
This is my
I got it.
heartbeat,
You know?
friend.
Like the kill scenes, the effects,
The noir.
the noir, all in volume 1. Volume 2, theme.
Yes. Well, and volume 2, if I were to say my favorite, outside of I do love that monologue. There's I laughed, remember? We were watching something and I laughed and you were like, "Pardon me." So
Yeah.
she's buried alive and she gets
Oh,
out
yes.
through doing this like hand movement that she had been trained through years of martial arts and she gets out, she digs her way up and she's covered in dust and she's walking across the road to this diner and it's from the perspective of the person behind the counter at the diner watches this, which looks like a scarecrow, like, walking across the road and dust is flying off, and she comes in, she sits down, she asks for a glass of water covered in dirt, and it is so funny to me because I was like, "They made Uma Thurman, like, climb under dirt and then, like, walk across this road," and she, like, stomps when she walks, so, like, her hair flies out in the dust, and it is so physically hilarious. And I love that scene, and I just think it's so funny, and just the timing of it because 'cause you're quite stressed because 'cause you're wondering if she'll escape this, grave and, how she's gonna move on and how is she gonna murder this person now and what's gonna happen, and it's just this beautiful comedic relief in the middle, and I love that scene because it's one of the I guess, like, maybe few times that I'll look at comedy as, like, a nice value add in a movie
Nice
like that.
veteran.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that remember you were like,
Yeah,
"That's that you
it was
think"
funny.
you're like, "That's"
I also like the knife scene with, like, the little kid, like, "Go play while mommy talks to her friend," and then they have this, like, crazy, like,
knife battle
knife
and
battle.
yep. Also really good. Yeah, and then she allows that little girl, like, permission to avenge her, what does she
Yeah.
see as I think that's really interesting, shows the respect level of, being,
Mhm.
in that field of being an assassin. Um Yeah, this is very much like a for me, for the theme, when you asked me, like, what's a good versus evil theme, I thought, "My gosh, no better thing to fight for. No better way to justify maybe an evil task than to do it for the protection of a child." And so that's why this movie came to mind. Um, that's my reason.
Okay.
Also, it's maybe in my top 5 favorite movies.
Where's this one ranking?
And, high. It's high.
High?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm,
Both of them together, are they, like,
yeah. Because I think of it as one
one mo
story.
well, she did think of it as one movie,
I did.
so,
I
yeah.
that was
I had to have snacks to get through the second.
you were struggling. I was like, "Do you want some coffee? We're we're just about to another really great long fight scene. Are you ready?" And you were like, "Yeah." Um, this movie, yeah, I rated it, uh this is an 8.5 for me
Okay.
because there are 2 parts of the film that I felt um, could have I've been taken away, didn't add as much value on, which was mostly her trainee, kind of
Mhm.
backstory films. I just thought those sections could have been more succinct and, yeah, and, I would have loved to see a little bit more as well after, she really like that relief scene where she gets to have like that life. I would have liked to see more there. Instead it's just like her watching the awful cartoon with her on the bed and being like, like we're good to move forward with our life. But I thought that could have been spread out. So that's where my lost points came from. But
Okay.
that's an 8.5 for me. What did you give it?
Alright, so first off, I'm just ugh. I'm not a fan of his movies. They just, for me,
Did not land.
nap approved. I think actually the first time we watched Volume 1, I fell asleep and we had to rewatch it,
That
which I
happens.
was thankful that we finished it, and then I got the news we had to watch Volume 2 directly afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I would say that, and because I had to watch 2 movies for us to get this theme,
Point deduction.
point lots of points deducted. I rated this a 3.5.
Okay. Yep. I understand.
Like, I like the iconic scenes, but yeah, I would say that this is probably the only second time I've ever watched this movie, and hopefully the last.
Yeah, but that happens. Yeah, that's those. Which is so interesting with this theme of all the ones, because of course we'll talk about yours next, but that we actually really notice, because for the most part we have a similar perspective on how
Yeah.
we do movies. We'll have some different things that stand out to each of us, but with in particular, good versus evil, just very different. And
Very.
yeah, which is again, I think will be so interesting as also as we continue our journey as movie critics and as reviewers, that when it comes to this topic and it's not in the horror genre where it's very obvious good versus evil, demons, angels, things like
For
that,
sure.
that oh, we do have like a bigger spread when it comes to different genre. And so
When was
mhm.
the first time that you watched this movie?
Oh, I saw it in theaters, like when it came out.
Like, but how old were you? Can we do the math there? Because
Okay.
I would say, like, for mine, like, mine definitely clearly younger,
Yeah.
but
So it came out in 2003. So I would have been in grade 10.
okay.
Yeah. So I was like a high school girl being like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, we are definitely 2 completely different people.
Yeah.
Here's the line.
That wasn't the movie you were watching in grade 10 being like, this is epic. I need a yellow tracksuit. Like, this is, no.
No, can't say I wanted to wear a yellow
Mm-hmm.
tracksuit.
No.
No.
I wonder too, because in the school that I went to, it was a very creative focused school. So it was such a topic of conversation of using split screen and
Mm,
like using
okay.
creative outlets. And so the conversation was there about the film as well. And so anyways, if you are watching us on podcast television, continue watching, and the next episode is coming up, which will be Cade's pick. And if you are watching on or listening on podcast, of course, you can listen anywhere that you normally listen to podcasts on Apple and Spotify and more. And thank you guys so much. And you can also find us on socials.
Yes, Instagram, all the things at cadenkit.com.
Mm-hmm.
.com.
Well,
Just at Cadenkit.
we do have a blog that also you
Yes,
can find us on there as well.
on the blog,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yep.
Rate us, like us,
Mm-hmm.
subscribe.
And tell us your favorite good versus evil below in the comments, and maybe we'll find one that is maybe not so
No,
far.
I wanna know if everyone is with me in this moment, if
Okay.
that's 1 movie or 2, because that was a very big topic of debate.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out with our reviewers. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.